Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to carry it through
like a football.
Playing football, right? But if I'm looking around a crowd of people and I see, I'm looking at folks, this kind of blends into me, okay? And I'm holding on to it, so I know that I still have it. A lot of times with the long strap purses, and we had a lady come through our self-defense seminar, she said, she was at the mall and they have those tables out front and she's getting stuff. And what do we do with our purses? Even if it's like this, what do? We always put it to the back. So she was getting stuff. She went to the checkout stand and went into her purse and her wallet was gone. Somebody walked right behind her and just pulled it out. And that's the other thing is, you've done a really good job. You've got your purse zipped. But man, we're so lazy. We can't even zip our purses up. Oh, it just takes too much time to open the purse. I'm just going to leave it open.
And you have lip gloss.
Oh, I know. It's easily accessible. Just put Velcro on your hip. So, you got to keep everything to a minimum. Now, I know you guys were joking too. You said something about pepper spray, right? Okay. Now, do you carry pepper spray?
No.
Perfect. Okay. And the reason why I say that is if you've never taken a course on how to use this effectively, leave it at home. Most of the time, it's just like keys. They always go down to the bottom. If an attack happens, it happens like this. There's no way you're going to be able to go into your purse, pull it out, and spray somebody. You got to put it to the on position. Something happens, or your heart rate gets elevated, your stomach, you get butterflies. You're shaking. There's no way that you're going to get this to the on position and spray somebody. The other thing is, it doesn't shoot like a gun, in a straight line. If the air comes back at you, you're going to get it in the face. And if you've never experienced what pepper spray feels like being sprayed in the face, your eyes start watering, your nose starts running, you start coughing and gagging, you feel like you can't breathe. Now you're panicking and you have all of that going on, it's going to make it worse.
Right.
So, my brother and I, with our old Taekwondo coach, she taught us how to take it away from a victim while we're attacking you and use it against you.
Oh, wow.
So if you've never used this before, or have gone through a course to teach you how to effectively use it, I would leave it at home. Okay. The other thing is, some women say, well, if I'm at the park, I've got it in on position and I'm holding it. If I walk up to you, and let's just say you're just having to be skittish, if I walk up to you and you accidentally spray me, it's a felony.
Oh, wow.
So, there's a lot of bad that can go along with carrying pepper spray. Now, I'm not saying that, if it's what you want to do that. But there's, the good and the bad outweighs the good on that one. Okay?
Good to know.
Another thing is keys.
Nice catch.
Excellent. Okay. Now, keys can get us into trouble. And I know, people say, well, let's take the keys out before we can get to the car. Perfect. That's great. But if we have all of these keys, this is what can get us into trouble. Because if we're holding on to the key, and I want the keys, or I want the car, I want you in the car, I'm going to grab for the bottom part. Okay, so this isn't really helping me because I have all this extra stuff. It's too hard to hold on to everything. So you want to try, I know everybody likes discounts on stuff, so we have all our discount cards, but we want to keep everything to a minimum. You want to try to keep the house key separate from the car key.
Oh, I do that.
Yes.
I didn't even know it was safe, but I just
exactly.
do it. Nice.
And then you want to keep it real small. You want to keep it in your fingers. Okay, so you can either hold it here if you have two keys. You can hold them between your fingers here as you're walking to your car, but always make sure that you have them out before you even leave the building, whether it's the mall or anything.
Is it also safe when you have, because most days people have the little remote key, and I typically try to unlock the door as I'm in the motion of going to my car. That way it's not a struggle.
Right.
If something was like that to happen, I can hurry up. The door is already unlocked. I just hop in.
Right.
Is that good?
Yes, but you want to make sure that you don't do it so far away from the car.
Okay.
And when you get to your car, this is where we talk about cell phones. There's another guru out there that says, be on the phone and walk to the car and keep somebody with you at all times. Well, we don't like to drive near anybody that's on a cell phone. So even though your intention is to just have that person there just in case something happens, we get drawn into that conversation on the phone. And then we stop seeing what's around us. And that's the important thing.
Distraction.
Situational awareness. We need to see what's around us. So, if you're really concerned about your safety, get a security guard to walk you out if there's one available. And then, call before you leave and say, hey, listen, it's going to take me about 10 minutes to get to my car. I'm going to go out to the car. I'm going to get in. I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to drive away. And then I'm going to call you. Now, the reason why I say lock the door and then drive away is we had a story. A lady came in and she had, one of her friends had gotten to her car and sat in the car and got on the phone. A guy jumped in the passenger side, locked the doors, turned the heat on, raped her for 3 hours. And people were walking by. It was in the middle of the day. Nobody even paid attention because the windows were so fogged up. They had no idea what was going on inside the car.
You
You are kidding me.
So that's why I say
That's scary.
There's absolutely no reason for you to sit in a parking lot and talk, especially if it's remote. I mean, in that case,
I've seen a lot of people do that, especially women.
Right.
Yeah, outside the grocery store, the mall, or work.
I do it in my apartment garage. I'll get in the car, or I'll even pull out my GPS if I need directions somewhere, and I'll just sit there.
Right.
Before I even drive off.
Right. And we had, I just did a self-defense seminar for a group of Russian women that live in the Atlanta area. And one of them said that same thing. She was on her phone, walking to her car. It was up in Roswell. And the guy came up behind her. She had no idea. He grabbed her purse, ran off. And I mean, it happens that quick.
Wow.
So you have to pay attention, to your situation, to things around you, and see, and look at people.
It's the smallest things that make a big difference.
Yeah,
like you said, when you're distracted, you're looking down, you're looking away, you get in your car, you don't lock it. Just those little tiny seconds can make or break a
Especially being on the phone.
Right. Yes.
Well, show us some moves. Let's get down and dirty with it.
Let's scoot these back.
Yeah. Scoot these back out of the way so we have room to karate chop each other.
Okay. So, we were talking before we even started. You were saying, "Well, I'm just gonna kick him in the groin," okay, which is an effective.
Or just try to snatch it off.
Okay, that's scary. But yeah, that'll work. Okay, all right. I signed my insurance waiver, I think, before we started.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Don't make us mad.
I know. I heard you guys out there like, yeah. But there's certain techniques, and like I said, we teach in our kickboxing program in our self-defense course. We teach punching and we teach kicking. Okay, for hand-eye coordination. But in a self-defense situation, you're going to go for things that really hurt. Grabbing somebody by the groin is going to hurt. Okay, so on an attacker, you want to go for. We're going to go head to toe. You're going to grab for the ears. Now, if you grab hard enough on an ear and pull it, it's just cartilage. You can pull it off if you pull hard enough. Another thing, and now you have to remember. Let's stop for a second and think about this. This isn't stuff that you get mad at your boyfriend because he didn't do the dishes. You don't rip his throat out. Okay? I mean, you smack him around.
All you psycho ladies out there,
right?
It's self-defense. I'm mad at my boyfriend.
Yes, right. So these are things that can really, really hurt somebody. So. You can, and you have to understand, if your life is being threatened or the people around you are being threatened, then this is the stuff that's going to keep you alive. And right now, while we're safe and we're having fun, we're thinking, I could never do that. But if you're in a situation where your life is threatened and somebody's about to rape you or kidnap you, could you actually rip somebody's throat out? I say so. So the other thing is you cup your hands and you come across their ears here and you break their eardrums. So you won't know until the blood comes out of their ears.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So you hit them, you can just tap your ears just a little bit. You hear that echo? If you do it really hard, let's not do it hard.
Yeah.
But do it hard, okay, you're going to bust an eardrum. The other thing is you can fish hook somebody, which you're taking your finger and pulling it inside of their mouth. You can push up or break the nose here, or lift up on the chin. If you lift up on the chin, you can grab, and both of you have fingernails. Now, this is one thing that a self-defense guru says. He says, grab them around the neck. So I want you to go ahead and grab my neck and squeeze. Now, you notice how, other than her fingernails pressing, into my skin, I can still talk. Go ahead and squeeze a little bit more.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna hurt you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. See, I can still talk. So this isn't really hurting me. So what they failed to teach
he has
you.
fingernail marks.
Right. I'm gonna. We'll talk about that after class. What they fail to teach you is, guys have, and I have a small neck, but my brother that helps me with the self-defense class, he's got a huge neck. Some guys even have tree trunk necks, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you're going to get your
players.
hand. Right. There's no way you're going to get your hand around the neck. So what you need to do is come around the esophagus and pull in. And we'd have the women in the class do this, where you come in, you push around. Now you can feel where it rounds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then if you squeeze, which you're not going to do.
Okay.
You're going to squeeze, and then you pull and you crush. They can't breathe. If they can't breathe, they can't fight. Okay. So you can easily do that. The other thing is the fingers. If the guy grabs you and you grab onto a finger, rip it, pull it, and break it.
Try to break it.
If you break his thumb or you break his finger, he can't hold on to you. Okay. The other thing is the feet. If you've got your shoes on, if I come up from behind, you can easily step on my foot. Right. Yep. Stomp on my foot. You can bring your leg up and push back on the knee.
And break the kneecap.
Yep, or hyperextend. You can either drive your heel down my shin and rip the skin off my shin bone. You can go for the groin. Everything you want to do is you want to go for joints and things that are going to cause a lot of pain. One of the things that I left out for the face is the eyes. So if you come up and you grab the eyes, you want to dig into the inside, you want to scoop around the back, and you pull the eyes out.
Yeah.
So you go in, scoop around, and go out.
Yep. Now, my old coach taught me this, and I don't know how she knows, okay? But if you take a hard-boiled egg and you cut the white off, and so you've got the white and the yolk, if you smash into that and pull it around, that's the equivalent, without the things that are attached in the eye, that's the equivalent of pulling an eye out. Because obviously you can't practice this stuff because you would be with a lot of friends that have no eyes left.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really want to know what that feels like, squish into an egg and pull that out. And that's about as realistic as you're going to get.
You'd be going in for the yolk, and that'd be like the eyeball.
Exactly. Yeah. Go in and get it and pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So one of the first self-defense moves we teach is
Your
basic
turn.
grab. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start. We'll go. Are you left-handed, right-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. Well, just for the sake of this, now I understand if an attacker is attacking you, they're not going to say, "Are you right-handed or left-handed?"
Right.
But for this,
Before
we're
I
gonna,
hit you.
we're going to give you the most dominant hand.
Okay.